Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Mike and Garrett are here today on a beautiful Tuesday. Hello, Garrett. How are you?
Howdy. I'm doing all right today.
I hope we're live like normal. You know what I did yesterday when we were wrapping this up. I instead of hitting end the stream, I clicked the X button at the top of the page, and it just like closed everything. And I was like, well, I hope that ended the stream and worked.
I ended the stream right after. I was like, ooh.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah. Aaron said we should be fine. But then today I go in there and it was asking me questions that it doesn't usually ask. And so I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So hopefully a few people out there are hearing us. How you doing, buddy? You doing all right?
They're hearing us. I can see it on my other window here. We're live.
Okay, good.
Yep, we're good.
Good. Yeah. I always get worried. I hate this setup so bad until I can get into an actual studio and start feeling comfortable. If you could turn the camera, you'd see the Cease laying in the bed behind me. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. I think an important one. I think yesterday was important. I think the stream that Elon Musk did. What is that? Studio? Is that what they call that? Or store?
Twitter stream or whatever.
Twitter's X story or X studio, whatever it is. Not without its problems. But I think what will go down as a really important stream. I made a tweet last night afterwards saying anyone who wants to lead this country should be forced to sit down, unedited, unscripted for 2 hours plus, and just talk.
Yeah.
Talk about their vision. Talk about their
more.
Yeah. I mean, it's just we have been so conditioned to be in a cycle of 30-second news bites, and unfortunately, the people that are in charge of that all have agendas that don't match what your real life is and what your real world is. They don't live in the same world. They don't experience the same world. And they have complete control. Up until this point, they've had complete control over the messaging. And, we see too often that they're not able to be fair, balanced, honest. They've done that to themselves. They have a critical responsibility that they don't do well with. And, the numbers speak for themselves as far as, what the country as a whole believes in. And so stuff like that yesterday, Trump sitting down with Elon Musk for 2 hours. It doesn't mean you have to like everything that was said or agree with everything that was said. That's not the point.
Yeah.
As well as I do, Garrett, that there's no fucking way 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or a week ago, Joe Biden could do that. No chance.
Well, they were talking about that in the interview.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe that Kamala Harris could do that either. I don't believe it, and it came out afterwards that the invite to do something like that was extended to Kamala Harris as well. And, the point of my tweet was they should all be forced to do this so we can see just in normal conversation like human beings, how these people sound, kind of you can really get an idea of how people are, when you don't have the ability to just take something out of context, twist their words and throw it back out and go, oh, look what this monster did.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do when you just have someone unedited, unscripted for 2 hours plus talking. And I said, I'd love to see Kamala Harris do it next as if they'd let her.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe there's no fucking way they'd let her. No way they'd let her. It started out kind of slow.
Well, it was a DDoS attack that really started out.
Well, I was hoping you could explain that to me. That's Go ahead. A DDoS attack. I was like, oh boy, is that the Department of? But no.
To put it very, very simply, I don't exactly know what the term is. Just I know what it is. It's just basically somebody took a bunch of data, like thousands of gigs, megabytes, terabytes, anything like that, and they just bombarded the Twitter studio with it so that their server couldn't keep up with what it was receiving.
Yeah.
People do it all the time in zip bombs and stuff. It takes down a whole network.
Yeah. And they had apparently planned for something like this. And the fear, it's so obvious what the fear is. Like just having someone have a 2-hour conversation, it's like, if we can disrupt this and make a joke out of it, like they couldn't even get this together, because that's what was going on Twitter at the time when it happened, and it delayed things, I don't know, 30 minutes. And I just had my phone sitting there and like, okay, I'm assuming they'll come on when they come on. And and at the end of the day, if I couldn't get in, if it was something like that, I was confident that, yep, they'll do this interview and then they'll just post it and you'll get it wherever. And then 30 minutes later, it came through.
Yep.
And I think it's an important thing, and I think I'd love it if more people did stuff like this. It's why I kept saying I think it's really important. I'd love to see both Trump and Kamala Harris do something like that with Joe Rogan, right?
I agree.
And the reason I thought Joe Rogan is access. He has access to powerful people. They know how big the audience is. And he's an honest shooter. Yep. Like he's not gonna just it doesn't mean he knows everything. I know he'll get pushback on like his RFK interview, and I get that, but you can still, I don't expect someone like Joe Rogan or this show to know every policy and every attack back, but just hearing these people talk and kind of where they come from, what their thinking is, what they perceive as dangers, what they perceive as something that would help the general American public, like those things are important, So, they get shut down for a while, and apparently Elon and his team had done this earlier in the day and had it up to like 8 million viewers. Like they had done a trial run and had up to 8 million people in there to see, if it could handle it, and handled it just fine. So I don't know how DDoS works exactly, but that's kind of the thought that I had too. It's like crash the thing with as many people as you can so that it
not
kind
even
of
people. It could just be one guy who has much data that he just sends all at once.
Right. And so it bottlenecks, and then when people try to get in, they can't, and they get like the monkey, emoji or whatever saying, "Oh, can't figure it out." I think it had the effect that it should have. They're talking about it. Elon had tweeted out last night about his interview with Trump and the discussion afterwards, which is key. The discussion afterwards, take that for what it's worth, generated nearly 1 billion views on X.
Well, he got 60 million lives, so he was already on the right track.
Yeah. So they mean, when they say 1 billion, I think what they mean is us having a conversation right now counts as one. So anybody that discussed it, I don't know if they mean just single tweets about it.
Probably tweets, because a lot of his stuff gets aggregated through keywords. That's how you find different terms and stuff. So he probably put in Trump Musk interview and then saw how many tweets popped up about it.
Yeah.
That's where you probably get your billion figure.
Yeah, which is crazy. But even, that's got to be, there were hundreds of thousands, millions streaming, listening at any given moment. And that's got to be, I would guess, and I don't know for sure, but I would guess that set a record for the biggest live stream ever.
Maybe on Twitter, or X.
Can you think of one that would have been a bigger live stream than that?
Oh, there's been some concerts, I think, that went wild, especially during COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I will say, too, the UK tried to stop the interview before it went out. They sent Elon Musk a very strongly worded letter of do not talk shit.
Yeah.
They're scared.
Yeah. In fact, I have it here, and I loved his response.
Yeah, I did too. I wanted to bring that up because you're talking about the DDoS trying to stop him. Like, dude, the UK was scared of it.
Yeah, the EU.
The entire EU was afraid of this conversation.
Yeah, it shows you the level of these people. So afraid of, you're talking about a 2-hour discussion. Now, a lot of these people might not agree with the policies. And, this comes down to the fundamentals of First Amendment here in America versus Europe or Canada, where you have tens of thousands of people in jails for shit they've said. The government can go after them. They don't have the free speech protections that we do in this country, at least for now. That there are many people, including someone that wants to be your vice president, Tim Walz, has openly said, free speech does not cover hate speech and misinformation. Like, that is someone clearly telling you how they feel. That if you, and to them, hate speech is as simple as disagreeing with them on something. They can twist anything into hate speech. We've seen that a million times. So the European Commission, and this is Thierry Breton, member of the commission, sent this out. I'm writing to you in the context of recent events in the United Kingdom and in relation to the planned broadcast on your platform X, conversation between U.S. presidential candidate and yourself, which will also be accessible to users in the EU. I am compelled to remind you of the due diligence obligations set out in the Digital Services Act, DSA, as outlined in my previous letter. As the individual entity ultimately controlling a platform with over 300 million users worldwide, a third in the EU, that has been designated as a very large online platform, you have the legal obligation to ensure X's compliance with EU law, and in particular, the DSA in the EU. This notably means ensuring that freedom of expression and of information, including media freedom and pluralism, are effectively protected. And on the other hand, that all proportionate and effective mitigation measures are put in place regarding the amplification of harmful content in connection with relevant events, including live streaming, which, if unaddressed, might increase the risk profile of X and generate detrimental effects on civic discourse and public security. So if you say something they don't like, it could lead to people getting upset and taking to the streets, and we can't have that.
I talked to people from the EU, and actually my stepdad, who's from the European Union, he's Scottish, right? So it's like I talked to him about this a little bit. He's got an opposite take to me. We've been disagreeing on this one back and forth quite a bit, but all my friends who are in the UK right now completely agree it's gone overboard. It's completely draconian, and they're trying to get the hell out.
Yeah. I mean, it always does. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have friends who have to go back through and comb their Twitter right now because they're under threat of being arrested. They're not happy.
Yeah. That's how that goes. It doesn't surprise me. You could see that coming a mile away. It's why, while I personally don't feel the need to go out and buy a bunch of guns and like, oh my God, I understand how those people feel. I get it. That's how I feel about the First Amendment. That's how I feel. The Second Amendment people, might sound a little batty. They might sound a little radical. But it's like, when they break the law, go and arrest them. Until then, shut the fuck up. No. They know if they give an inch, they'll take a mile. Yeah. Same with free speech. The musket argument, no, that's not what it meant. I mean, if you wanted to go buy a fucking cannon, you could go obtain something like that by, whatever was out there.
I'll even put it one further. In the Constitution, we're supposed to be able to have arms equal to our military. Technically, us as regular citizens should have access to nuclear weapons if that's the case. Yeah. So they can shut the fuck up with the musket thing if they don't want us to have nukes.
They love that argument, though, the musket one.
I know.
Which I totally get. I understand, and anytime, you see people abuse something, and if you have a free society, people are going to do that. People are going to take free speech too far, and it's like, well, maybe there's some consequences there. Their neighbors don't like them anymore and don't invite them to parties. That's a consequence. Yeah. Maybe someone goes as far as getting fired from their job, for something that, that it doesn't mean you don't have consequences. But,
exactly.
A letter like this from the EU is meant to do more than, because they know they can't do anything against Elon and doing an interview like this. But what it does do is it threatens the public. Be careful about what you share. Be careful about what you say. And so it does have an effect of people going, it's not worth it for me to voice my opinion. It's not worth it for me to push back on something because maybe they knock on my door. How realistic is that? I don't know, but that threat hanging there is enough for a lot of people to say it's not worth it. I know people like that.
Yeah. And it also plants seeds of doubt. And just right before even the interview gets started, it plants a whole seed of doubt of, oh, these guys are talking about misinformation. My government said so. And, there's a lot of people who aren't paying that much attention who are probably just going to eat that.
Yeah. Like, oh, here they go.
Oh, misinformation.
Yeah. And the sad thing is a lot of those people, because I mean it when I say, if Elon sat down and did one of these with Kamala Harris, I'd listen every minute of it.
Yeah. 100%.
I'd listen to every minute of it. And I mean that. I would have if Joe Biden did it, that would be fucking hilarious.
I'd take notes like I did today. And I even have smiley faces and frowny faces next to things I thought were good and bad.
Yeah. So this continues, blah, blah, blah. We cannot exclude potential spillovers in the EU. Therefore, we are monitoring the potential risks in the EU associated with the dissemination of content that may incite violence, hate, and racism. Well, you've already proven you can throw anything you want into the hate box, racism box. It doesn't even have to make sense. We're living in a place, that those fucking weirdos, women for fucking Kamala or whatever that bullshit was. Remember that chick we saw that was like, if you're in here, you need to check your privilege and, remember if someone BIPOC is talking, just sit back, don't talk over them. Whatever you do, don't interrupt. And you're like, what? Just because someone's Black, Indigenous, person of color, they levitate above the rest of us? They can't ever be wrong. They can't ever be told to shut the fuck up. They can't ever be stupid. No, you don't put them in a different category than the rest of society because you have some guilt associated with your world. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. It doesn't make you racist if you disagree with someone who doesn't have the same skin color as you. It's absurd on its face.
And then it gets more ridiculous over where does the hierarchy start and end? Is one race better than another race? And now we're just being racist again.
Yes, dude, to that point, gay white men are not as they're basically straight white men now. They're not as cool. We've seen the gay dude, white gay dude. You don't check enough boxes.
Nope.
That's a new thing, but it's just being I'm gay doesn't necessarily get you in the club right now.
Yeah.
And God forbid you're gay and have a different viewpoint than them.
I'm out of the club.
Yeah. You're a problem, Garrett. You really are. You're a problem for those people. They assume that you're just going to fall in line. Well, Musk responded to this, and these guys threaten here. My services and I will be extremely vigilant to any evidence that points to breaches of the DSA and will not hesitate to make full use of our toolbox, including by adopting interim measures should it be warranted to protect EU. Yeah, you're doing a lot to protect EU citizens.
Yeah, they're
fucking losers. From serious harm. Ooh, you might hear something you disagree with. Ooh.
You might hear some words you heard in a song earlier today.
Yeah, exactly. So Elon Musk, in absolute brilliant troll fashion like he does, he sends out this picture famous from
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. To be honest, I really wanted to respond with this Tropic Thunder meme, but I would never do something so rude or irresponsible. And it's Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder screaming, and literally, fuck your own face.
Yeah.
Well, there, if you're watching us, that's the meme he sent out.
Well, I don't think
perfect.
A lot of these people realize Elon Musk isn't a normal CEO. He purposely tanked his own stock, the 420.69, because it was funny.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, in fact, I pulled some. I didn't know if I was going to get to it, but it's really funny the amount of Easter eggs. We've talked about some of them that are in Tesla alone.
Yeah, sexy is a great one. They mentioned it in the thing, and I thought that was hilarious. So that the Model S, the Model X, the Model Y, and the reason they don't have the Model E, so they have the Model 3. Which is close enough to the E, but the reason they don't is because Ford owns the Model E and wouldn't let him use it. So he came out and said Ford basically doesn't approve of sex or wants to ruin sexy, something like that. Yeah, he said. But I've got a list of their Easter eggs in the Tesla stuff to show you the kind of sense of humor, which I fucking love it. I really do. Yeah, one of the things early too, and we'll get to that list in a second here, Trump saying that he's going back to Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Hilarious. And then dude.
So anyways, as I was saying, that's his intro. I like
as
that.
I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted.
Yeah.
That's human and hilarious. If he actually goes back to Butler, Pennsylvania, takes the stage and opens with, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. Dude, I mean, I love it. I just do. Yeah. So some of the Easter eggs, let's see, the Back to the Future phone app. Are you familiar with that one?
No.
In Tesla, in some of their models, touching the battery icon inside the Tesla mobile app with the vehicle at exactly 121 miles or 121 kilometers of range was discovered to launch a Back to the Future Easter egg. A pop-up message displays time circuits off, and be sure to reset your clock to account for temporal displacement. The name of the vehicle changes to Out of Time, which is the license plate.
Yep.
Charging scheduled changes to time circuits on. 121 miles changes to 1.21 gigawatts. The charging tab changes to fuel chamber. Below the now fuel chamber tab reads as current output 300R, which is refers to a number in Back to the Future as replica cars being made each year by DeLorean. There's also a vehicle location display that lists an address from Back to the Future. The seat heater one.
Okay.
So if you do a voice command and say my balls are cold, it turns on the heat seater, the seat
awesome.
heater. Voice command eject X seat, where X equals driver or passenger, will turn on the heater to max. So if you ask it to eject the X seater, it'll turn it on super hot.
Eject the driver.
Yeah. Turn on X bacon. X seat bacon turns it on. You can do 1, 2, or 3 for low heat, medium, blah, blah. Santa mode, voice commands ho, 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 or ho, 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 not funny will activate the Santa mode Easter egg. If voice command ho, ho, ho is used, Run, Rudolph, Run by Chuck Berry will play inside the vehicle. Ho, 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 not funny is used. Grandma got run over by a reindeer will play. And then it's got like snow effects. There's a Mars rover and Starship one where the screen will display like you're on Mars, your GPS.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it'll have you turning and whatnot, but it looks like your vehicle is a Mars rover and you're driving on Mars. They've got a Mario Kart one where if and Rainbow Road and Don't Fear the Reaper, which Blue Oyster Cult, but he used the that's more cowbell. I need more cowbell. The Christopher Walken SNL skit. So auto steer capable vehicles can activate this Easter egg involving the in-car audio and change the on-screen animation. If autopilot is activated 4 times in quick succession, the computer vision generated road that the car is driving on will change into a rainbow, which is similar to that of the Rainbow Road, the final level in each version of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So I've played a little Mario Kart, but
I know Rainbow Road.
At the same time, the song Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult plays in the cabin of the vehicle. The version of the song that plays is taken from SNL's More Cowbell. As part of the Easter egg, Christopher Walken can be heard stating his lines from the skit that I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. There's other stuff. There's one for an X show featuring Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The rear view mirrors will start dancing. The fog lights go off, and it's all in sync.
I've seen all that.
Yeah. Kind of cool. And there's a few other Spaceballs and Ludacris and Plaid mode. We've talked about those before.
I mean, he named one of his cars the Model S Plaid.
Yes. So is Plaid not an actual version? Like Ludacris is a speed from Spaceballs, the movie, when they go.
The Model S is a version of the Model S. The Model S Plaid is a whole another version that comes with that Plaid mode that lets it go fucking really fast.
Yeah. The point of this being, I think it's awesome that we have eccentric billionaires that can laugh at stuff like that and find that funny and throw it in and go, fuck it. This is funny to me. I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to make an awesome car. First off, whether you're an electric vehicle guy or not, irrelevant to me. It's definitely, the way of the future, I'm sure will be, you know what I mean? Like I think of it, Marshall's 9, by the time he's 16, 17. Does he even learn how to drive a car? Are they all self-driving electric vehicles then? And it's like, yeah, the kid never knows how to drive a car. Maybe.
Yeah, at this point, I hope so, because the new drivers we're getting are not good.
Yeah. So, Elon Musk came out yesterday. I think he explained himself pretty well in his feelings on things. I don't think people were expecting to hear his take on, big oil. And, acting like they're not the enemy. They're keeping the world running right now. We'll get there with this other stuff, but you can't just eviscerate them and act like they're globally the bad guy. That's not fair. It's not right. I agreed with him on some of that. He also had a statement at the end that I thought was powerful. How many people will hear it or care? I don't know. Sounds like hundreds of millions of people maybe will hear it. But he said he described himself as political moderate who is strongly encouraging other moderates to vote for Trump. Must frame the election as an important juncture and said our nation is in deep trouble if Trump were to lose. I'm not very political. I've not been very political before. The media try to pay me as a far-right guy, which is absurd because I like to make electric vehicles. I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand. And historically, I was a moderate Democrat. But now I feel like we're at a critical juncture for the country. This is to people out there who are in the moderate camp. I think you should support Trump for president. I actually think it's a very important juncture in the road. We're in deep trouble if it goes the other way. Trump responded, I've always thought of you as somewhat left. It's even more of an honor to have your endorsement. So anyways, let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to hear? Yeah, that's about it. The other thing that I think is really big news to come out of this, and I think we would support, is the government commission on wasteful spending.
Yes, that was my biggest thing I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead. You want me to read it first, what he said, and then we can...
I'll let you say it, yeah.
So Elon went on to say at one point, inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. Musk then proposed a government efficiency commission that would evaluate all of the government spending and cut out spending that was not sensible so that the government can get back to living within its means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit every about 100 days. And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. Musk asked Trump if he agreed that it was time to create a government efficiency commission to eliminate wasteful spending, to which Trump responded, yes. I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and ensures the taxpayers' hard-earned money is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission if it were formed. I'd love it, Trump responded. You're the greatest cutter. Like cutting.
Cutting cost.
Yeah, cost cutting. I worry about any new commission being built by the federal government.
Yes.
That would be my only concern is these people historically have not proven that they can be responsible. The bloat ends up getting away from them. And what initially is meant to be a really good thing ends up just adding more bullshit to something. But in theory, it's something that every American agrees on.
Yes.
Every one of them agrees that government bloat. We've all heard stories about spending $1,000 on a fucking screw, $500 on a roll of toilet because it's not your money. Mm-hmm. It's not your money. You don't care as much. You think about when you're doing a project at your house, you get multiple quotes oftentimes. You shop for deals, you look for sales. These people, that's never a concern to them. It's not their money. What were you going to say about it, Garrett?
Oh, exactly that. Plus, I wanted to say that because one of the things I was thinking about, I was like, well, another commission sounds like you just want to spend more money. And then I remembered they want to get rid of the education department, bring that down to the states. Yeah. I think pairing those two things are perfect. If we just replace the education department with a department that's supposed to curb government spending and then let the states handle their own schooling, I think we'll all be a little bit better off for it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that'll be hard to do. I think the education department is massive.
Yeah.
And how many...
we're not
What's
good
that?
at education. I was going to say it's also kind of rough because our education stats are dog shit.
Dog shit. You would think you would take one look at that and go, we spend more per pupil than any country on planet Earth, and yet we rank in the fucking bottom of so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like that should tell you everything you need to know, but it doesn't. And people will fight tooth and nail. You know, people in government love that bloated bullshit. You know, they really do. And you know, when Trump says something like "You're the greatest cutter," take a look at Twitter. Yeah. Take a look at Twitter. It must confirm that he blew out 80% of Twitter employees. So that was over 8,000 people working at Twitter, and took that down to like 1,500 now.
Yeah.
Just like, no, this isn't how you run a business. This isn't how you make money. I pulled up the one Twitter video and you could see how well this has aged. And we played some of these on the show at the time. These were going on all over. You saw these happening every day, you know, and it was like these young people almost mocking the rest of America. Actual workers. Like, you know, like I'm special. I work at Twitter. I'm better than everybody. You know, you guys with your menial jobs. I have the important job. I work at Twitter. And do you have the video there, Garrett?
Yeah.
Go ahead and
from
play
a TikTok,
it.
So it auto plays every time.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Just a reminder.
As a Twitter employee, so this past week went to SF for the first time at a Twitter office, badged in. Honestly, took a moment to just soak everything in. What a blessing. Also started my morning off with an iced matcha from the perch. Then I had a meeting, so quickly scheduled one of these little pod rooms, which were so cool. They're literally noise canceling. Took my meeting, got ready for lunch. Look how delicious this food looks. Oh my goodness, I was so overwhelmed. Then made my way down to this log cabin area. I don't know what this is, but it was really cool.
Doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah. Friends to kind of unwind a bit. Also found this really cool meditation room that I thought was super neat. I didn't really.
I'm mad. I hate these so much.
I know.
If you were a yogi, so also thought that was really cool. Had a couple more meetings in the afternoon. Had a ton of projects that we needed to knock out. Say hey to my teammates. Went to the library to kind of get some more work done. Obviously, had to have our afternoon coffee, so made some espresso. And then before leaving for the day, had some red wine that's on tap.
Yeah, red wine on tap.
Went
nice.
up to the rooftop and just honestly enjoyed.
I mean, to be fair, we bring beers to work sometimes, allegedly.
So awesome trip.
Oh my God. Oh, these people. So yeah, we started seeing those videos like crazy, and it was insulting to people that actually go to work every day.
You know what I had for lunch today? It was gas station bag of chips and whatever soda was cheapest. And I ate that on an upside down milk crate in the back dirt lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my lunch. And I enjoyed every fucking moment of it.
Yeah. And Elon walked into Twitter and went, "Get the fuck out of here. All of you. Beat it." No. And don't. I think of the federal government as running like Twitter was running with 8,000 employees, where you have dipshits running around talking about playing foosball and drinking wine and coffee. You notice that employee didn't say anything about like.
Well, she took a meeting.
Yeah, I took a meeting for like 15 minutes, and then
the second lunch.
No work office should have meditation rooms and yoga fucking studios. Like, no, most people that work a real job that want to do yoga do it on the weekends or after work.
Yeah, they want to get the fuck out of that office.
Yeah, yes, and you know the other thing is what a lot of these companies were doing in San Francisco, because there's a lot of them doing that. You go to Workday, you go to fucking Apple, you go to Microsoft, you go to Google, Twitter, Facebook, any of those all have these where they want to keep you there as long as they can. So your workday doesn't really end. Like, don't focus on a family. Don't have children. Just be part of the Facebook family. And we've got everything here. We've got cornhole and wine on tap and basketball courts and like just garbage, bloat. And I think of the federal government is running that way. And the idea of coming in and literally having business-minded people, smart people take a fucking axe, not just, oh, I went to Yale and I know this professor and oh my God, I have the same ideas about everything as you do. We all feel the exact same way about climate change and about no matter, even if it's true, whether it's not true, it doesn't matter. We all feel the same exact way. We don't push back on anything ever. We just fall in line like good little minions because you give us a glass of wine and some foosball.
Exactly.
Disgusting human beings, horrible human beings. You've been raised like shit. Sorry. You're not living in reality. You're not living in the real world. You're bullies, most of you, from what I can tell. Most of the woke people that I see are fucking bullies. I see them on Twitter. I see them on Facebook. You run into them occasionally in the real world, and they're fucking bullies is what they are. And they can be perfectly nice, which is shrouded in fakeness to begin with, because God forbid you disagree with them on something.
Exactly.
God fucking forbid. Good luck to you. Drives me nuts. The Harry Balls, God, I keep doing that. Harris Walls.
Okay.
Campaign.
Sorry,
I don't know why
I got excited for a second. Well, you gotta quit teasing me like that.
Yeah, it's Harris Walls, but Harry Ball. I don't know what it is.
I guess I could see it kind of mix up.
They posted a statement as soon as this came out, and instead of a statement saying, "I can't wait for my 2 hours on the Spaces area to openly and honestly converse about my vision for the country." Donald Trump had his say. I disagree with him wholeheartedly on so much stuff. I can't wait to I'll see you next week, Monday at 8:00 Eastern. We will do this again. And I hope Elon Musk treats me with as much respect and as much runway as he did Donald Trump. And we'll see you next Monday for my vision. That would be a statement that should come out.
That'd be a winner statement, I think, too. Like, right. Actual, respectable. Like, I would look at her side and be like, well, now I want to listen and see what you have to say.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
She can't do that. Just like Joe Biden couldn't. Right? She didn't win anything. She was just put there. She's just part of the bloated machine. The whole fucking disgusting machine that, by the way, got you Donald Trump in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't happen in a vacuum, that a game show host becomes the leader of the free world. It only happens because of your garbage behavior for decades. That's how you get so much frustration, so much rot, that it leads to this shit. So they can't put her out there to give a 2-3 hour conversation. And I'll say this, I talked to you about it a little bit and said, I'm worried that Elon Musk isn't the right guy to have that conversation. Joe Rogan, I thought, would be fair, would be decent. People would bitch about it, but so what? They're going to bitch anyways. But I've seen enough of his interviews to know that he's capable of handling something with as much pressure as would be on something like that. I think Joe could do it. I was impressed with Elon. I think
a little awkward, but he kept it going.
He did. Little bit of talking over each other. There was also people pointing out that Donald Trump sounded weird, slurry, slushy.
A little bit. I was going to say mush mouthed.
Yeah. And, people, of course, he's got dentures. He's so old, shit like that. I think it was the TikTok microphone he was wearing. They had some cheap little microphone, and his phone sitting right in front of him.
I was going to say, I kept hearing that.
Just talking into it, but he was talking down like this. Tim Pool actually tweeted out and said, no, this is common and he gave some technical reason. I don't know if he's right, but it made a little bit of sense about he said it's called slushing, and it has to do with streaming. The way they were doing it. It happens to a lot of guests that are currently doing these sessions like this on X.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was something like, oh my God, what's happened here? Is this man falling apart? Like, it wasn't like that.
No,
but
I definitely that bad, but I didn't notice.
Did you know? I noticed it too, and I was like, he sounds a little different.
I thought he was a little higher pitched.
Little higher pitched?
Yeah.
Maybe. I noticed if you listen back to it now and listen for the slushing effect, I think you'll you'll hear it. Maybe it was something worse. Maybe he's dying of something. I don't know. But it seemed like a reasonable thing. He didn't seem like he didn't know what he was talking about. He absolutely seemed like he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So the Harry Balls,
damn it,
Harris Walls
there you go.
campaign released a statement. Right now, Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump live on Twitter. We're not calling it X.
Okay.
Good one.
He's not my president. Is that what they're doing again?
Yeah. He's not my president.
Okay. It's not my Twitter. It's
good one, Kamala. Did you come up with that all by yourself? We're not calling it Twitter. Wow, you're so edgy. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help reelect Trump. He's using his Is it okay though when Zuckerbucks come into play and he donates $400 million to Democrats in swing states? Is that all right, Kamala? So you're worried about one guy donating millions. He's debunked that, by the way, and said no. No. I don't know where the Washington Post came up with I'm giving $45 million a month to Donald Trump, and it's bullshit. I'm inclined to not believe the Washington Post because they lie a lot. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he is. Who gives a shit anyways? The other side's been doing that forever. So whatever. He can donate where he wants, I suppose.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you want to talk shit about where he's getting his money, open up your books. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, right. Let's take a little bit closer look at Act Blue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want us to do that, would you? You wouldn't want us to know how the James O'Keefe videos told us exactly what was going on. And Act Blue was going, yeah, Bill Mahalski in Arizona donated $5. And but then their books would show that, oh no, Bill Mahalski donated $160,000. Yeah. And so James O'Keefe went and knocked on Bill Mahalski's door, and Bill went, and he's living in a shit box. And it's like, yeah, I gave $5 to Act Blue. That I did.
Yeah.
Oh no, they have you down as donating $160,000. And they're like, does it look like I'm someone that would donate $100? No. So where is that money coming from? That they've got a body now, someone that gave $5 to Joe Biden's campaign. They have a body, Act Blue does, and they go, yep, they gave money, and there's no real accounting. And so who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars are shuffled through that money laundering scheme that no one wants to look into. Exactly. But we're worried about Elon Musk. We're worried about Elon Musk giving tens of millions, whatever.
Well,
it's just
Kamala
so
just had her Comedians for Kamala thing, and wasn't it just a whole fundraiser to give her money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they brag about
most of it was just the two comedians on the show donating their own money.
Yeah, probably. That's probably exactly.
It was. I think they made $400,000, and $350 of it was just the comedians on the show.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Biden when he had Obama grab him by the hand and walk him off stage with Jimmy Kimmel and George Clooney. That benefit raised $45 million in a day, I think it was. And then George Clooney didn't bother to tell us until after the fact that, by the way, he was basically a mummified dead person even then. But we still generated all this money for him because, Orange Man bad. So we had to prop him up like he's a real human. So the Harris Walls campaign continues. He's using his purchase platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. All right, Garrett, you watched listened to the conversation, level-headed, even keel conversation between Trump and Elon Musk yesterday. Do you remember the unhinged and hateful agenda part?
There were some parts where I thought he was a little. Never mind. There was not a single moment where either of them said anything that I wasn't like, oh, that's extreme.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think maybe him saying deport them all. There's something, but that's something he's been yelling since 2016.
Yeah, I don't remember the hateful, unhinged part. I remember him laying out his positions and why he had held those positions. Now, you can disagree with those. You can. But he at least explained reasoning, thought behind it. And I think that's way more than most politicians give you. Way more than most.
That's
and
something
certainly more than you get in a soundbite.
Yeah, it's something I gave him a lot of credit for is when Trump makes a policy or anything like that, he'll tell you who he's working with and what it is.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because now I can look into it.
Yeah. It's kind of like the no tax on tips that just popped up out of nowhere from Kamala.
Exactly.
I don't believe for a second that they'll go anywhere with that. Remember Kamala Harris when that big bill that they wanted to pass about hiring 80,000 new IRS agents. People think that that's 80,000 new IRS agents overnight. It's not. It was over like a 10-year period, but the point is made. And one of the primary things that they had was going after people that don't declare tips. They didn't have enough bodies to go get that money. Kamala Harris was famously the tie-breaking vote in that, in favor of those 80,000 new IRS agents meant to go after middle and low income, if you will, Americans, including people that were restaurant workers declaring tips and stuff like that. So forgive me if I don't just be like, oh, wow, she's totally flipped and changed her view on that, even though she cast the vote that was going to punish those individuals. Maybe she's totally had a change of heart. The problem that they were running into was Trump came out with this, and I believe Trump got that from Ron Paul. I believe that's where he got that. Probably. From years ago. Ron Paul was saying that. So the reason that Kamala's team has jumped on that now and acting like, oh, yeah, Joe Biden's even for this. We're big time for this. They've done polling on it. And what they found is this cuts through party lines. It cuts through economic groups. It cuts through everything. It's the one thing that like literally all Americans agree on, whether they're rich or poor or left or right. Almost 70%, 60+% of Americans agree with, you shouldn't tax those. Yeah. You shouldn't. So it's an absolute winning policy is what it is. So Kamala's jumped on board with that. She's not tied to anything, so she jumped on board with it. I think it's probably smart. Now, will they follow through with that? Who knows? I doubt it. My guess is no. But it's very, very popular is why it's like, fuck it, just take it. I know Trump's been saying it for months. I know we voted against something like this. It goes counter to exactly what we voted for. And I was the tie-breaking vote on is Kamala Harris. But fuck it. It's super popular. We're going to get our asses thumped if Trump's the only one saying this.
It's Hillary Clinton and gay marriage all over again.
Yeah. 2013 is when she came on board.
Yep.
Seems a little late to the party, sweetheart.
It's kind of like we were already here. What's going on?
Yeah. If that's all you need to hear, so the Harris Walls campaign comes back. If that's all you need to hear, chip in $25 now to help Kamala and Tim have the resources to respond to their lies. But just point out their lies. Otherwise, let us remind you why this is a big deal. The richest person in the world is a lackey for Team MAGA. Musk already ruined Twitter by allowing hate speech and disinformation to flood the platform. Oh, that makes me sick. You people are fucking delusional. So Musk is using his vast fortune and broad reach to try to control democracy. Democracy's on the line again. God forbid Elon Musk have an open conversation with someone for 2 hours. Wow.
So she's saying she doesn't have the means to put on anything that big for like a stream for herself in her campaign. She was offered to go on an interview with him on his platform, just like Trump did. Yeah. You have the equal opportunity
can't
right
do
here.
It, man. They can't do it. I know that came out right afterwards.
It's for free.
Yeah. No, they know they cannot sit. They haven't even released a policy thing. Go to our website. There's no policies there.
No.
They feel like she doesn't have to do an interview. We can carry this bitch across the finish line. It sucks because there's a lot of people who don't know much about Kamala Harris, that don't know her history, don't know her background, don't know how she grew up, where she grew up. She's got really pretty extreme communist ties.
I was going to say they don't know her dad is an economic communist Marxist.
Yeah, they don't. They don't know that. And a professor at Stanford and Berkeley. Donald J. Harris. You can't make that up. Donald J. Harris is his name. And it's I watched a video on it from Trevor Loudon. Now, if you were to go to Wikipedia and look up Trevor Loudon, they'll just, they'll do what they always do on Wikipedia and go, anyone like, you and I would be viewed as far right extremists, know, Couldn't be further from the truth. Doesn't matter. I don't know who Trevor Loudon is, but I did watch a video. I watch a lot of videos by people. And it's 23 minutes long about Kamala Harris. And it's years old. It's years old. And it was when they were talking about putting her on the ticket with Biden. And this guy put out a video going, okay, if this is the plan is to take over for Joe Biden at some point, because that guy's not going to be, able to hold it together. He was off by a couple of years, but he wasn't wrong. And then it goes through the historic breakdown of Kamala Harris's background, how she got where she is, how she was raised. It's fascinating if you're into that sort of stuff. It's a warning to America, though. It is about what this woman believes at her core, how she was raised from a baby up is through Marxism, communism, both her parents, her sister, going through Willie Brown in San Francisco, and how she got into the DA's office, and her entire background. You can find the video out there on Kamala Harris. I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details. I'm certainly not smart enough to break it all down for you. But the video is not a bunch of shit talking. It's not, I wish all the shit talking would go away. But if you care, Trevor Loudon did the video. And
I linked it in the YouTube chat too. So it should pop up if anyone comes to our video
okay.
and checks the comments.
Yeah, you can check it out. And by all means, tell me where the bullshit is. I'm always in favor of a less lefty viewer, and I know we have plenty of them, watching it and going, oh, this is why this is bullshit. That's not really your dad. Or no, she didn't go to that. She didn't study under that communist Marxist professor and go to work for this communist. Like, fine, tell me where the problem is. I'd love to read it. My guess is I won't get many emails.
No,
but that's the reason she can't do interviews right now. They'll eventually get her doing friendly interviews. She'll do George Stephanopoulos. She'll do Jake Tapper, shit like that. I watched CNN exclusively last night, and it was remarkable. Hours after this event happened. And I don't think I can possibly stress to you how important this interview was yesterday on X. But hours and hours afterwards, CNN, you know what they were covering? They were covering Trump bitching about the size of his crowds. And they were having minutes and 10-minute long segments on a loop. Like, here he is in 2015 questioning the size of this crowd and saying it was bigger than it was. Here's the New York Times even saying that he's wrong, that he lied about the size of this crowd. And they just on a loop all night. It was like this event didn't take place, that fucking millions of people tuned into at once. Like, that would be the number one show on television by miles.
Yeah.
And like, it didn't exist to CNN. Like, it didn't exist. And if they did reference it, it was just, oh, he was just lying, and the same bullshit they spit out there. I hope people have the balls to give it a listen themselves and judge for themselves, and then ask the question as to why Kamala Harris hasn't done a single fucking interview.
I dropped it in Facebook and YouTube chat, so
good.
Should be easy for people to find.
Good. I think it should disturb people that she's not doing that stuff. Her record, it speaks for itself. Her record in San Francisco speaks for itself. And she's going to have a lot of hard times answering those questions that someone like Elon Musk or Joe Rogan would bring up, and wouldn't just give George Stephanopoulos her, and just go, can you believe how much Trump lies about everything? Oh, you're awesome, Kamala. America loves you. That's the kind of interview you get there. There's a tweet going around. There's a side-by-side tweet. It just gives you a microcosm into what we've bitched about with media for years and years and years. It's CBS News in both accounts. I don't know, you may have seen it, Garrett, going around, but when Trump announced that we're going to not tax tips, and CBS's tweet at the time said, Trump's new plan will cost the federal government $250 billion over the next 10 years. That's how they framed it. And Kamala 2 days ago announced we're not going to do taxes on tips for hospitality workers and, restaurant workers. And their tweet then was, check out Kamala Harris's new brilliant fucking, blah, blah, but whatever it was. But you can just see how the same exact thing, the same exact policy, and the same exact news outlet, one made it seem dark and devious with Trump. Like, look at this jackass. He's going to cost the government $250 billion over the next 10 years. And hers was some magical solution that everybody loves. And it's like, yeah.
It reminds me of back in 2016 where there was a guy who was going out in like public man on the street interviews, and he would just tell people, hey, when Obama said blah, 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 this policy, do you agree with that? And everyone goes, yes, I agree with that. That's awesome. I think that's a great idea. And he's like, well, that's actually a Trump policy. And they're like, what? Yeah, it's that same thing.
I've seen those. There. They're awesome. They're great. Them. They're great.
It turns out you're just voting on a side.
Yeah, totally. Jack Black's new movie.
Kung Fu Panda 22?
No, it's not Kung Fu. I'm sure Kung Fu Panda 22 will come out later in 25, maybe. But maybe. He's got a new movie called Borderlands.
That's off a video game I used to love.
Really? Is that a good video game?
It's a great game. Terrible movie.
They've made this before?
Not the movie. The movie's new. The game they've made before.
Yeah, the game is old. So apparently it didn't do well. It struggled at the box office. I mean, you got to start somewhere. It came in 4th place, earned about $8.8 million.
Yeah.
In its opening weekend. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but it's got to have a lot of CGI and stuff.
Their production budget was $115 million.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget the $30 million in distribution and marketing too.
Oof.
So that gets you up to close to damn near $150 million. But they made $8.8 million. It's pretty cool.
They got it back.
It's pretty good. I knew you were going to know what this was from a video game.
I'm very familiar with the Borderlands franchise.
By the way, the movie, I'm not telling anyone to go see what, but it's getting 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Is that pretty good? 10%?
It's
better than 8%, right?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, 10% is better than 8%. You got to start somewhere. It's getting a D+ on Cinema Score. I think a D+ in the new scoring system in the education system in America. I think a D+ is the equivalent of an A.
I was going to say D's get degrees.
Yeah, but a D+, I think they score that as an A now, or maybe an A+, as opposed to 20 years ago. So that's cool. Just change the scoring system if you're failing everybody. So in the film, Jack Black is joined by stars such as Kevin Hart, Cate Blanchett, and Jamie Lee Curtis in an action adventure that's based on the best-selling video game as it follows a ragtag team of misfits on a mission to saving missing girl who holds the key to unimaginable power. What's the power?
It changes every single game, but originally it was supposed to be this crazy rich treasure that should set you up for the rest of your life, and it turns out to just be a giant fucking demon that was in the middle of this planet and killed them. Yeah, it became a problem. They defeat that in the second game. They hear there's this whole second unimaginable power, so they were like, "Fuck it!" And they all go out and do that.
It's another
fucking demon. They never learn.
That's
it's been a while since I played 1 and 2, and then 3 is weird. 3 is where everyone started to fall off and think that this franchise is becoming a problem.
Really?
Yeah.
When did these come out? Is this 10 years ago or
Oh yeah, way over 10 years ago. I want to see the original was hold on.
You're gonna Google it real quick?
I haven't played them in so long, but the original came out in 2009.
2009. Okay. All right. Yeah, a few years back. By the way, what is wrong with your fucking generation? Are you Gen Z?
I'm in a weird point.
Borderline assholes?
Yes, I'm literally the cutoff year between millennial and Z, so I don't know where the fuck to go.
Okay, well, 26-year-old is apparently Gen Z.
Yes, I'm 26.
Yeah.
So technically, yes, I'm the cutoff year for 26.
Okay. Members of Gen Z are embracing cassette tapes.
Hey, I got a record collection, but I can see that, unfortunately.
I get the record collection. I get vinyl.
Well, my brother's younger than me. I think still Gen Z, but younger, and he collects CDs. That's a different thing than, I collect vinyl, he collects CD. That's the new generation.
It's so funny, man. It's so funny. I was glad that 8-tracks didn't make a comeback. 8-tracks are such garbage. But I thought, like there's certain things that you don't go back on, you know. Vinyl, I understand. Vinyl, there was always a debate about vinyl sounding better and more authentic than digital, than cassette for sure.
Yeah.
For when I was a kid, cassettes were just easier. They were smaller. Sony Walkman came out and it was all the rage, and anybody that could had one. And it was amazing. I ran countless miles listening to a Sony Walkman, and, you know, so I get it, but it wasn't the unbelievable fidelity that, you know, purists with vinyl will tell you, you know, vinyl sounds better than CDs.
See, I'm not
certainly
even that way
cassettes.
Certainly
cassettes.
I think digital's better than vinyl, but my whole thing is I love the amount of art that goes into a vinyl. It's a piece of art you can hang on the wall. It comes with maps on the inside, lyric sheets, everything, all the credits. That's what I buy vinyl for.
100%. Totally agree. CDs were like that happy medium between cassette size and vinyl. So I have quite a few vinyl just because I'm a nerd. It's not for fidelity reasons and all that. It's just the collector in me kind of likes that. So Gen Z embracing cassette tapes, I didn't see that coming. Even if they can't quite figure out how to play them. Amy Campbell, 26, recently bought her first cassette, a Casey Musgraves album. Who's Casey Musgraves? Is that a country star?
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah. Only to find out she had no clue how to use it. The Wall Street Journal reported. I struggle a little bit. You have to keep fast forwarding, rewinding, pausing, and playing to find the right song you want. Yeah, dummy. What did you think it was going to do? Like, Gen Z raised on streaming like Spotify are now getting a crash course in 80s, 90s tech. Stars like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, and Charlie XCX are fueling the trend by releasing new music on the format.
That's where it's coming from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And those people that buy up everything that these, you know, mega, like if Eminem puts out a cassette, kids are going to buy it. Yeah. People are going to buy it. If Taylor Swift puts out anything, they'll buy it. Doesn't matter what it is. If it came from Taylor Swift, she'll sell $1 billion of it.
It's better than Kanye West. I mean, he sold his whole album as stems. So you could buy all the stems. Instead of buying his CD, you bought all the stems and his own custom personal recording device. And then you'd put the tracks together yourself.
What is a stem?
A stem is like the track of music that you layer over multiple tracks before you make a song. So like it'd be just the drum track on a song is a stem.
Oh, so they're isolated tracks.
Yeah, he just gave everybody the isolated tracks, said build a song yourself.
Yeah, but then they'd have to mix them.
Exactly.
Well,
it was a very big failure.
General public are not producers. Like,
no.
People get paid a lot of money to do that the right way, to layer and mix and master. Like,
yeah.
Okay. He's just weird. Whatever.
Exactly. So it's like not everybody can do that nowadays because he tried.
Dude, I love that the Kanye Wests of the world exists and are out there. I do. 100%. You know, every generation needs to have a Kanye West in it. And I'm glad he exists, but that seems crazy to me. Maybe they're pre-mixed tracks, so you just have to layer them. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so that if he's got a bass track at a certain decibel and then he's got a guitar layered, and so that you just stack them. But if he's just giving raw tracks, like, you'd have to mix those. And it's not easy to do.
Yeah, it cost $200. It's for Donda too. Yeah, he just released all the stems, and it came on an own little device that he sold you, and you would mix them on the little device, like a little touchpad thing, and you play different parts of songs.
Oh my God. Yeah. Too much. Cassette sales are on the rise with over 430,000 units sold in the US last year, 5 times the number from 10 years ago. With sales hitting a 2-decade high following a resurgence in vinyl, the trend began surging because of the resurgence in vinyl as music lovers turn to more traditional formats. That's fine. Yeah. Vinyl makes sense because of the fidelity, quality.
Yep. And
plus, you can always just take the fucking needle and lift it and move it to the next song. Like the fast forwarding, rewinding, wears that tape out. It's not good.
Same
It's
with
not
CDs.
good.
Like, I understand CDs because for me, I like to have sometimes if I really like a piece of media, I like to keep a physical copy.
Yeah,
Because with
totally.
the way things are nowadays, you never know when someone's going to get pulled off Spotify or taken off Netflix. So if I really like something, I try and have a DVD or a CD of it so that I
Yeah.
can have it.
I have thousands of them.
Yep.
I have literally thousands of movies and CDs
So I
that
understand
I
that
still have.
aspect
I don't
of
know what to do
everything.
with them. Maybe I'll find some Gen Z sucker to sell them all to.
You'll probably will.
You know,
I'll give you my
I
brother's number.
honestly, I almost tossed a bunch of them, but so many of them are like autographed and shit.
I'll take
So
them.
I was like, what do I do with these? These will never come back into, like, who's ever going to want a CD again? It's not like vinyl. I get vinyl.
Yeah.
So, you know, so some say the appeal of cassette lies in their unique sound quality. I like how nostalgic it sounds. Others appreciate the lower price point compared to vinyl and the portability for travel. Lower price point than $8.99 a month for a Spotify account that gives you literally every song ever invented, and portability, like what? It's more portable than what, your phone?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That doesn't, like, at least make it make sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. I think they're convenient. They're not convenient. What, you want to walk around with what, 20 cassettes?
Yeah.
So whatever mood strikes you, you can throw the cassette in.
Well, right now, as trends always kind of, ebb and flow, and they always come back around, I think we've been hitting the late 80s, early 90s trends.
Yeah.
It was 80s for a second. Like, mullets came back and fucking, everybody was wearing pit vipers, like really shitty sunglasses and listening to synthwave.
I'm shocked. Here's what I was talking to G about this just the other day. I'm shocked parachute pants haven't come back. Like, I've seen neon colors. What I know, but what, dude, they were cool as shit. And if I saw someone today, some young 20-something today, all it would take is one of them doing a runway with a pair of parachute pants on, and they'd blow up. But Marshall there was a company called Varney when I was a kid, and it was like volleyball, beach gear, that kind of thing. And but they were like hot pink shorts, like slick shorts you'd wear in the volleyball court. Lime green, all the fluorescent colors. They were huge for a while. And Marshall loves those things. He's not wearing Varney, but whatever today's brand is, he's got fucking bright orange and lime green, hot lime green. And like, those are 80s trends, but parachute pants have never made a comeback. And it's like, dude,
we got windbreakers back, but
did you really?
Yeah, windbreakers went back for a second too. Like, that was a really cool thing to put out, like your own line of windbreakers.
Oh man, I just don't get it. I mean, I get it. There were things like 60s. I remember bell bottoms being cool for a brief minute.
I almost bought an Adidas tracksuit the other day. I get it.
Yeah, there you go. So Emily Taylor, 25 years old, told the Wall Street Journal, I think they're convenient cassette tapes.
They're not.
Emily, stop. They are so not convenient at all.
You're lying to be cool.
Convenient is having every single song ever invented through the history of time on your fucking phone.
And a way to categorize them by how much you like them.
Yeah, exactly. She explained that she packs Ariana Grande cassettes for long rides in order to reserve her phone battery. I'm glad cassettes are back. You're not making any sense.
Just plug your phone into your car.
Plug your phone in.
My 2013 Ford Focus has a USB port. It's not uncommon.
This is outrageous. But really, the convenience, and you're trying to save what is this? 2006? What do you mean you're trying to save your battery on your phone? Others are not so pleased. It's a cash cow now. Jen Long, who used to run a cassette label, told the Wall Street Journal, it's another format to get you up the charts and milk money from people. She used to work to boost sales of cassettes. Now she said she feels bad for the amount of plastic we had to put out in the world. By the way, the cassette was developed by Philips in the 1960s. Heyday came decades later with the Sony Walkman. Yeah. There's something about that I think this generation, more so than most, there's so many advantages to being part of this generation currently growing up. But I really do think, you guys have missed out on something, like ticket stubs don't mean anything. You just print it out. It's on a big piece of paper.
I was going to say,
collecting. In fact, I have them.
Do you know how happy I am?
I have them right here. Hold on, Garrett. I mean, these are ticket stubs from over the years from literally concerts I've been to.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have these. Kids won't know what that's like. They won't know. You guys won't know what album release day is every week when it's like, oh God, 3 amazing bands are releasing albums on Tuesday. And if it's a big enough band or a big enough thing, people lining up at midnight the night before and the record store opening at midnight when they'd normally be closed. So you could go get Guns N' Roses' new album the second it came out with all the packaging and everything. Instead, it's just like it's on Pandora, it's on Spotify. Like it takes all that shit away. Those stores were important, man. When you were counterculture, when you were rebellious, when you worried that your parents were going to see an album cover, not me, my parents never gave a shit, but a lot of kids did. They worried about satanic messages on an album. Could you get away with having that in your bedroom and your parents seeing it and it was more dangerous. It was fun. It was cool to hop in your car with 3 of your buddies and race to the store to get this album that was coming out that you'd anticipated for 2 years since they dropped an album before. Like it was an event, and you guys don't get that. Lots of other pluses, no doubt, but you've missed out on that.
Well, I was going to say, I was super excited when I went to Dave Landau that I go there with my digital ticket. They go to scan it, and the guy hands me a physical ticket back with the actual date and everything. I'm like, oh, yes, I pocketed them. I took them home. They're in a fucking frame right now.
Yeah.
I just slid them into another frame I had going. I was like,
Isn't that
want
crazy?
To keep these. I want ticket stubs.
Yeah. Dude, trust me. In 20 years, you're going to have forgotten half the shit you did.
Yeah.
You're going to forget about all the cool shows you went to.
It's why I take photos of them, because it's one of those things where I know I'll forget this later, and people can say all they want about me holding a camera up in a concert. I take 30-second videos just so I know what happened, and then I'm good.
Yeah. There's something that rings true generation after generation after generation too. And it's that we crave something different, no matter how amazing it is. Like, if you think about it, the fact that literally the world's library of music is sitting on this phone, any song I want at any time I can pull up and listen to. And it's not good enough. Like a new generation has come up. They have access to that. It doesn't cost shit. It's cheap as hell for, and yet it's like, no, I need to be different, man. I want, cause like, but we all do that in some way, like when the PS4 came out, the PS3 was when people were starting to like go back and find an Atari 2600 or whatever. And
I have
like
a PS1 hooked up upstairs, ready to go.
Yeah, totally. It's like, you really want to play Duck Hunt on the original Nintendo? Is that what, you want a Sega Genesis? But yeah, it's nostalgia. There's something about it, man, that people just eat up. They love it.
Yeah.
It's wild. I saved this story for last, just because I know it'll offend some people, and I want to warn people in advance.
Let them get out of here just in case.
Yeah, if you're offended by the N-word, this might be troubling for you. I don't remember if we played this video when it happened. It's a University of Kentucky student caught on viral video attacking a black student while firing off an arsenal of racist slurs, including the N-word, more than 200 times.
I'm impressed.
That's kind of impressive. In a 10-minute video.
Like, it goes from like anger to impressive. Like,
yeah.
At some point, even the black people have to be like, damn, bitch, all right, keep going.
It's funny, like people are outraged by this, and I get it. I get why people be outraged. To me personally, I'm not terribly offended. I've been listening to Lil Wayne and Snoop and Dre and NWA and Chris Rock and Chappelle for years and years, decades now. So hearing the N-word 200 times in a 3-minute span is not, maybe it's new to these people, but I've been hearing the N-word 200 times in a matter of minutes for decades. So I can pearl clutch here and act like, oh my God, whatever will I do with my life? I can't believe that word. But I struggle to do that. Here you have a pretty cute college student who's absolutely shit-faced.
Oh yeah, she's stumbling.
It's like, oh, this poor thing on video.
What's this Ronald McDonald do next to her?
Yeah, right. What is he wearing? So it looks like he was at the football game, University of Kentucky basketball or football game earlier that day. And no, I understand the pain this word can cause. I'm I'm being silly, but so she has pled guilty to assault charges. That's why this story's popping up today. Sophia Rosing, 23 years old. I feel bad for her because it's like the amount of like once in your life drunk shit. Now, maybe this girl gets drunk and drops N-bombs every Saturday night. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend her for that. But I have definitely had moments in my life where I got way too drunk, way too young, and made an asshole of myself. And I'm so grateful that it's not on video for the world to fucking judge me for years later. It's something maybe these people will just move on with their lives and not feel guilt, because it's happened to all of you. I don't know. But yeah, should we watch the video?
Yeah.
Go ahead and play.
And my thing too, I don't care how drunk you are, if you're saying it that casually with the hard R, you've definitely said it before.
Yeah. She is in Kentucky.
Yeah. Just singing it while being arrested.
Yeah. Yeah, cops trying to arrest her. Damn, boy. Oh, what these poor cops see.
Yep. This is before the cop got there, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh. She takes a swing at a black girl.
Yep.
Oh, she kicks another girl. All right, go ahead and pause it, Garrett. Pull us back up. The guilty plea came after mediation in which, let's see. Okay, Peters. That's Fred Peters. Peter, please, Peter. Fred Peters is her attorney. Said a lot of things got said, apologies were made, and we worked it out. Her life has been on hold for the past 18 to 20 months. She has had a lot of time to think about what she's done, and she wrote a nice letter of apology. I bet she did. Yeah. Do you think the apology letter works?
I think your only bet's to double down or fuck off into the ether. That's all you can do.
Yeah. It's that's a tough one to get around. We've made that word so devastating that it's unrecoverable. It really is. For some people, it's just your life's over, Rosing had kicked and punched and bitten a 19-year-old student worker, Kyla Spring, while repeatedly calling her the N-word at the campus residence hall on November 6th of 22. Spring had tried to check on Rosing. So Spring is the worker, the girl that, I don't know, I'm thinking like an RA, resident assistant or whatever. I remember those in my buddy's college dorms and stuff. There'd be one student at the end of the hall that was responsible. And you hope to get a cool RA. Maybe she's one of those.
I think it looks kind of like they're coming out of like a basketball game or some kind of event. That's probably why she's wasted, and she's probably just one of the staff workers on the event.
Yeah, could be.
That's what it looks like to me.
You mean the 19-year-old black girl?
Yeah. She's working the event like for the college or something.
Probably making a few dollars on the side. Spring tried to check on Rosing, who appeared drunk and in need of assistance, but was instead attacked by the student and pelted with disgusting vitriol. The girl starts saying things like, "Do my chores. It's not my fault that you're black. It's not my fault that you're ugly." Yeah, that seems like it escalated quickly. Yeah. And it does sort of sound like you think you're better than someone who might be black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always bitch about, and I have for many years on this show, like, save racism claims when you call someone out for being a racist for when they actually apply. You know what I mean? That's one of those, do my chores. It's not my fault that you're black. That's somewhere you go, yeah, no, that one. That's something where you go, I think that person thinks they're better than me because of the color of my skin.
Yeah.
I can get behind that one. And then she starts singing the N-word, which we just heard. She was released the following day. The assault was captured on video, posted online. It went viral, sparked outrage, prompting students to hold a March Against Racism rally on campus. I wonder if it worked. Do you think they ended racism on campus that day with their little marchy march?
I mean, I haven't been too racist recently, so
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, maybe it did work.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that this march was going on, and these brilliant young 20-somethings were out there ending racism, but good for them. I'm glad they ended racism.
I just thought of a racist joke. Never mind. It's still around.
Is it?
Yeah.
You don't want to say the racist joke, do you?
I can say it. Don't worry. It's good.
All right.
How do you know if your white girlfriend's still a virgin?
I don't know.
She can run faster than her cousins.
Wait. She can run. Oh. Wait, is that a rape joke?
Or is and then a white girl sleep with her cousins joke.
Like, was that for Kentucky?
Yeah. Any of the South states.
I thought you said it was racist. That's more
white jokes are a little harder, all right?
Yeah. I remember, well, no, I won't say him. But I wasn't aware of the March Against Racism rally. I really hope it worked and they ended racism, those brave kids going out there and marching. Let's see. The University of Kentucky permanently banned Rosing from campus following the racist attack. Yeah, I think that's going to get you booted for good.
Probably for her safety, to be honest.
Well, I didn't even think about that. You're probably right about her safety possibly being in jeopardy from that. And probably when you have something that goes viral and it's got University of Kentucky plastered all over it, and University of Kentucky student, they're going to go, get the fuck out of here. They're not going to want you around. Period. Not with us. The former business and marketing major faces 12 months in jail, 100 hours of community service, and $25 fine. Boy, that de-escalated quickly, didn't it? Fucking 12 months in jail. You could face up to a year in jail or a $25 fine.
She wasn't charged with battery for those punches and kicks. She was just charged with assault, which is mostly verbal. And technically, yes, it was a racial slur. It's one of those things where it's like you'd have to prove she was trying to commit a hate crime for it to actually have any kind of lasting legal stick. Yeah,
I don't know how she's going to be sentenced October 17th. We might want to Astronum file this.
Okay.
Spring, the black girl there, was in attendance for the guilty plea, revealed that she and Rosing had an opportunity to talk during the mediation. I told her she didn't break my spirit. Spring, let's see. She read a very heartfelt apology to Kyla during our mediation. Spring, however, wasn't buying it. Of course not. You can't continue your victimhood if you accept someone's heartfelt apology. My guess is, and I know from experience, there have been times in my life, I've never gone on a racist tirade. I can honestly say that, but I've definitely made an asshole of myself at a party, drunk, young, way overserved, drink all day. Like we went hard back in the day, and the wrong switch flips and you act like an asshole, and lots of people listening know what that feeling is like. And the next day you're trying to put it all back together and you owe some people some apologies and you actually mean it. And it's like, no, that liquored up dickhead last night wasn't me. And you know that. That's not who I am. And you hope that people would accept your apology. Doesn't mean they have to forget, but you would hope that, Ms. Spring 12 months later could hear this woman's heartfelt apology. And I wasn't there. I don't know how heartfelt it was, but I imagine she's probably not a drinker anymore, would be my guess, when something like this happens to your existence.
Yeah, that's a wake up.
I imagine that it was really tough to go back home being booted from college, and this is the reason why. Not you partied too hard and didn't get good enough grades to still be enrolled, but that speaks to your family. That risks your dad's job. You're like it could risk a lot.
You and everyone you're associated with is fucked.
Absolutely. It could have devastating effects. I'd be shocked if this girl didn't absolutely mean the apology. Doesn't mean she did, but for this chick to like hold her boot on the girl's neck, I wasn't buying it. Well, of course not. Yeah. What do you want me to do? Kiss the ring? Am I supposed to get down and kiss your feet? What would do it? Again, I wasn't in there for the explanation. It's obviously horrible. The video is terrible. It's another one of those guys. Look, everybody who looks like her is guilty of the same crime. That's kind of how they'd love to paint that, even though that we all know that's wildly untrue. But I don't know if that person is that is remorseful takes actions that are moving towards proving they're remorseful. Again, like what? Kiss your ass? Do you want to actually have someone kiss the ring? What do they need to do? Join BLM? How do you exactly prove you're remorseful, Ms. Spring? And then she goes right into like, my parents taught me about forgiveness and Jesus taught me about forgiveness. And so I forgive everything. It's like, doesn't sound like you're learning the key tenets of Jesus. So if you're going to invoke Jesus in this thing, maybe you take the boot off the girl's neck. I think her drunken tirade night, this girl probably doesn't even remember it, if I'm being honest. You know?
Yeah, probably not.
She probably has done a lot of self-reflecting, and it sounds like paying some pretty severe consequences, you know? So anyway, yeah. Not to make her the victim. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, yeah, you know, I think it would send a much better message if you came out and went, you know, this is how ugly it can get in society. This is how poisonous alcohol can be. And you mix that with, you know, however someone was raised and blah, blah, blah. But yes, I forgive this person, and I hope they've learned a valuable lesson here. I hope that this doesn't define their existence going forward. We're all human beings. We all make horrible mistakes at times, and I don't want this to destroy someone's existence forever. I hope she goes on, learns a valuable lesson, and goes on to have a productive, meaningful life and is filled with happiness and joy. And leave it at that. Let the courts hand out whatever time they're going to, you know, whatever they're going to hand out for biting someone or punching someone. Like, fine, you know, there's going to be penalties involved with that. But, you know, the victim here was a victim for sure and had the opportunity to take a high road, and doesn't appear to me like they grabbed that opportunity. You know,
I was going to say, who was the guy they all had to apologize to in South Park when Stan said the N-word? Wasn't it Jesse Jackson?
Oh yeah. That's
who she needs to kiss the ring of.
Yeah. When I think he actually pulled his pants down and had to kiss his ass.
To kiss Jesse Jackson's ass. That's how she gets back to society.
Yes, exactly. You're totally right. I forgot what that was. Was that the Wheel of Fortune episode?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the people who annoy you.
Naggers. Yeah. Dude, it's still one of the, that'll stand up as one of the fucking best scenes in television history. It spoke volumes about society, that everybody thought the same fucking thing. Yeah. And Naggers was right there the whole time. And I guarantee no one watching that episode went,
it was like
Naggers.
Oh yeah, Naggers the whole time.
Naggers,
it was always Naggers.
Yeah. No. And the way they drew it, I mean, it's just brilliant. Brilliant.
Yep.
All right. Let's shut it down there, buddy.
Right.
Let's do some email. Jacking off is the subject. Connor. Hello, Connor. Oh, yeah. I love hearing from Connor. I really do. His emails are always
bone job.
Oh, yeah, bone job. They're always well thought out. They're always well written. Easy for me to read, and he's always got a decent point he brings up. I wish he'd email even more often. James as well. James is a historically decent emailer. I always read his stuff. It rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but I welcome that. I'm not afraid of James emailing. He's been sending fucking
setup good for him.
What's that?
I try to make my setup James approved.
James proof. You were
approved.
James approved. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe we'll take a camera on your room one day.
Yeah.
So jacking off. Hey Mike, I understand that remembering every story you've done is tough, but you have done the jacking off story back in the day. That's a great point.
Okay.
I can't tell you the amount of stories. Think about it. 10, anywhere from 5 to 20 stories a day for 30 years. Coming up on 30 years. Like the Drew and Mike one. I don't remember any of the Drew and Mike ones. There's a handful I can recite and remember.
Yeah.
And it's probably because I played them over vacations for years. But most of them just go in and out. They're gone. Don't remember them. Maybe you remember something from it, but the 99% of interviews you've done or conversations you've had go into the ether, man, and they're gone. So it doesn't surprise me that and some people have much better memories than me. Fellhauer was pretty good about that, remembering shit. And I'll get some recall back. And if it's people remind me of something, it's like, oh yeah, I sort of remember that. So he says, you've done that jack off story about staving off prostate cancer. Huh. He said, you had a joke that if you died, you and Jay had a joke that if you died of prostate cancer, your lady should be charged with homicide. Now,
that's pretty good.
That I remember. I remember making. I remember that making that joke. I totally remember that. So
that's pretty good.
See, it's the recall of it. I was like, yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like if I knew I could stave off if women were getting mouth cancer at extreme rates, but just jamming a dick in their mouth once a day was like, an apple a day keeps the fucking
mouth
doctor away.
Yeah.
If a dick in the mouth a day keeps, mouth cancer away, it's my job. Girls are going to wake up with dicks in their mouths. They just are. Because I care.
Man,
I care.
You should be providing cancer help.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't know that that's not the cure. We don't. Yeah. But if that was, so that was my thought process behind like, these girls should be brought up on fucking charges. If I get prostate cancer and it's like, all you had to do was make sure you were polishing me off once a day, to keep me healthy. Yeah. Enjoying the shows with just you and the Woke Bay. You guys sound great together. Hi, Woke Bay. With
Hello.
love, Connor.
I got a great business idea now.
What's that?
It's a medical clinic that specifically helps check your prostate and help you keep prostate cancer away.
Yeah.
It's run by me.
Yeah. It's run by you. Get the fuck out of here. No one wants to visit your clinic.
I guess Marina can come in too. She can
Goddamn homos. You homos are unbelievable. Can you at least hire some hot female assistants?
I said I'd hire Marina. All right.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count as a hot female assistant.
Transphobic?
Yes, extremely. No offense, Marina. I'm kidding. But can you hire some,
I gotta have people with the right equipment who can do prostate checks without using their hands.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
just make sure they're young and just care. They just want to give back. They want to keep people healthy.
All right.
That's what they want to do. Let me know when you're opening your clinic. What are you calling it?
Oh, I haven't thought that far ahead. I'll think of something before the end of the show. I guarantee it.
Okay. Douglas writes in, Mike, just a few years older than you and agree with everything you said on the August 13th podcast about heights. As I got older, heights bug the shit out of me. I can't even see it on TV or even a picture. I get a little wobbly. Not good. That's what I'm feeling, dude. I thought I was crazy when I said that the other day. Like, this is going to sound nuts, but I can look at a magazine picture of someone on a cliff and it's like, ooh, fuck. Or a video, forget it. It's like, it's just a YouTube video, dude. What's the problem? Yeah. But yeah, I will get that sinking feeling in my stomach. Never had that growing up. Never. So I'm glad to see I'm not the only one. Lastly, prostate cancer. I have gone through prostate cancer. My doctor told me if every man lived to be 100 years old and that was the life limit, every man would get prostate cancer. Right now, it's about mid 80% for the life expectancy of 73, 74 years old. So basically, everyone's going to get it. I had radiation as part of the therapy. My doctor told me surgery or radiation both achieve the same results and neither is better than the other. They both achieve the same. With the radiation, I had to get what was called the space OAR. This is a medical procedure that is used for radiation, which causes the doctor to put several needles in your perineum. Now, not fun. Wasn't that big of a deal, just quite embarrassing if you really want to see what a space OAR is. There's a video, a cartoon video of the application. I thought this would be funny to talk about on the show, at least a topic of extremely crazy medical procedures. I wish you all the best of luck in Arizona. Kind of sad that you left Michigan, but I totally understand. Big fan, Doug. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, I'm
the perineum, right?
Oh yeah.
Taint needles. Oh
yeah, taint needles. I agree with you, Doug. I miss Michigan a lot. I really do. There's a lot of little things that I miss about seeing people being closer to listeners, all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to take some time. We'll see. And I do want to make a trip back to Michigan before too long. And
I got a guest room.
No, I will need a guest room. No, dude, I refuse to stay in anyone's house.
I know, walking around.
But maybe 10 people show up at a bar somewhere and we hang out and have a few drinks or meet up at a Landau show or something.
I was going to say more than 10 people went to that Landau show who are listeners of ours. Don't sell yourself short.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they give a shit to see me though. So
we got at least 12 fans.
I got to keep keep for my sake. I got to keep keep it low. Because I'd be devastated if I showed up and 3 people were there. By the way, Garrett is great. He kind of has that dark, groovy Paul Williams from Love Boat kind of feel. Keep up the great work. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I was never a Love Boat fan. Why don't you write it down? Paul Williams from Love Boat. He kind of has that dark, groovy Paul Williams from Love Boat kind of feel. Whatever that is.
I don't know. He's apparently some older guy on this. I'm going to look into some clips, see what his deal is. Maybe I'll come in with a new shtick.
See if he's like you. All right, Garrett, why don't we kill it there?
Sounds good.
I would encourage people, lastly, before we get out of here. You should go listen to the Elon Musk, Donald Trump thing. Don't just, take what your media gives you. And that includes Fox News. Don't just take what Fox News gives you or what CNN gives you or MSNBC. It's been a running theme for any show I've done for 20 years.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. I'm the same person I always was. I have the same level of hatred and distrust of them that I've always had. And the more people check those out and give them a fair shake of just one-on-one conversations with people, the way better off we will be as a society.
I agree.
So, Garrett, thank you for everything today. I'm really glad you watched the show. That's a young buck producer coming up right there.
I'm working on it.
I know. And I give you credit because it's not.
I was listening to it while working.
Yeah, with a full-time job, it's not easy. And I don't even think you're allowed to listen to shit at work anymore. So.
I'm not, but that doesn't stop me. That's why I wear a beanie in the middle of the summer. I'm about to out myself here. Don't worry, the boss who does listen, he's cool with it.
Yeah.
But I wear a beanie during the summer because it's the only way I can hide a headphone.
Well, good. Just don't fuck anything up at work. And then they can't.
No, I'm not.
As long as you don't kill someone because of your listening habits.
They genuinely like me there. I'm a good employee.
Good. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. If you'd like to email in, walters@detroitcast.com. Love to hear from you. Really would. So send us